Slated, where CompuMatter tries to take the technological things that we hear about every day, whether it's AI or printers or whatever, viruses or whatever it may be, and whittle down the complicated stuff to user-friendly stuff to digest. My name is Jay. I own the store. We've been here for 20 years. I've been in the business for decades longer than that. And let me introduce you to Auren.
Hi, my name is Auren. I am a technician here, as well as we all work together to make videos and do some one-on-one training.
And I'm the manager, Douglas. I'm down here. I've been working here for about 20 years and look forward to helping people out with their computer questions. Remember, we have live chat through YouTube and Facebook, so if you're watching this and you have a question, feel free to pop in any interests or questions that you might have on technology or issues you're having at the moment.
We'll see it.
Whatever issues you're having, just lay it on us, and one of us will be able to figure it out, even if it has nothing to do with computers.
We'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot at it. Okay, we got audio working.
Now, we are amateurs. I think we should start off by saying that when it comes to this whole video podcast thing. So lower your expectations when it comes to slick and it's all dialed in and whatever. We're liable to make some mistakes here.
Yeah, but we're not AI generated, so this
we're
real.
Still a real person.
If I pinch one of them, you'll see the pain.
Although
AI doesn't do that.
Although it is getting more difficult.
It.
It's getting more difficult to tell that type of media that's going around.
How do we do that? How can we prove? It's gone beyond proving you are who you say you are with two-factor authentication or something like that.
I'd say the quality. It seems to look a little bit too sharp once it gets into AI. So, but they could change that and just lower the resolution and things like that.
I have a mole in a special place that AI knows nothing about.
We won't get into that.
Those closest to me.
We don't need to prove it that way. So we wanted to talk about AI, and I feel like we can get to that, but I do have a not as exciting issue that comes up more regularly than a lot of other things in computers, and that's picking out a printer. Because a lot of customers will come in and say, what type of printer do you suggest, or what model would you go with yourself? And realistically, it comes down to, we don't sell printers because of the fact that majority of them do have problems, and they tend to link you on to having to buy their ink forever and hook you in for life, whichever company you go for.
That's a good point. You want to go? You want me to go?
Oh, I just wanted to actually have a brief mention.
Yeah.
I will say, for reliability, if you don't mind black and white, older brother printers seem to be pretty good.
Older brother?
I haven't tried some of the newer models, is what I was trying to get across, but you got me there.
Yeah, watch out for Big Brother. Printer.
Yeah, those ones suck.
No, but yeah, I have noticed the older brother printers not having nearly as much problems. But there's
a whole new brand out there called older brother printers.
But yeah, there's a lot of options. You seem to have something on the ink.
So I have learned over the years that there's an inverse relationship between a cheap printer and the recurring expenses for what are generally referred to as consumables. So you go out there and you buy a $49 printer, seems like a great deal, and now but the printer cartridges cost $30 every time you want to change them, and the cartridges themselves are an all-in-one cartridge on the cheap ones. So you'll have, red, green, blue, and black. They come in one plastic doohickey, or maybe black will be separated, but usually it's all four together. And so or in some cases they don't even have a black. They make up a black out of three colors, blend them together. More of one or the other gives you the black. And so maybe you're low on black, but you don't use the color, the red or the yellow very often, and maybe they're full. But you find yourself needing to replace the whole thing. And because the container is black, you don't even know that's going on. You're insulated from that. It just tells you you're out of ink because you're out of one
ink is low and deal with it, yeah.
So the moral of the story is, don't ever buy a printer. In my opinion, I would never buy a printer for a family member that has an all-in-one ink container. Done, right there.
Yep.
You've got to have a minimum of 4 separate ink wells, so that if you're low on red, you're low on magenta, whatever it is, you're just replacing that one. And in a perfect world, you'd even have, the more ink wells, up to I think 8 is the maximum, tend to indicate a better quality and less having to change those ink wells out.
Do you have some on that?
I was also going to add the eco tank models also tend to save people a lot of money because the cartridges, depending on the model you're working with, I've seen cartridges be up to like $60 or more, even depending on what you're working with, which is just outrageous. So I would say for an eco tank model, you just use the bottles and you'll pour it in whenever you need it. Those are pretty good. And then, another thing I wanted to add was a brief mention. I do a lot of on-site help, and I would say the majority of printer issues tend to be the really cheap end model HP printers. So if you're looking for a brand new printer right now, I would recommend going with a mid-range, maybe even staying clear without knowing everything about HP. It's good to be aware that their instant ink methods, how it works is you can sign up for a subscription with them and you're paying for the amount of pages you're printing rather than the cartridge itself. So whenever you cancel that subscription, they can just stop your printer from working.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's a really important thing to be aware of if you are planning on going with an HP model these days.
Yeah, and I was going to bring up the subscription model for printers. Ultimately, it's designed to be able to save you some money on the ink, but their subscription model is going to be able to control whether or not you're able to print or not if you ever cancel
That's
it.
horrible.
And a lot of people don't even know that that's the way it's going until they cancel the subscription thinking, I have enough ink to be able to last, and it just senses that that's the type of ink cartridge you have and stops the printer from functioning. On the Inkwell ones, that's one of the printers that we use down here that we've used for a long time. Is a Canon G6020, and that has refillable ink cartridges. Going forward, that might end up being a model that we carry, but otherwise we've steered clear from printers overall because of all those types of complications. And I think our best advice would probably be to avoid the bottom line printers for sure, for all of us.
Yeah.
I like those refillable ink containers. I mean, I don't know if there are other brands besides the Canon that have that.
There's a lot of people who take the plastic cartridge and they drill a hole in the top and then they inject the ink right into the top of it.
But I mean, from the factory that allow for that, they sell you a bottle of ink. I remember Shaquille O'Neal demonstrating that with Canon like 5 years ago. I think they were the first on the scene, and we use them here at the store, and we liked them. I mean, although there was this issue lately that had to do with the chip and saying that the ink sponge container was full and when it wasn't, and we ended up actually buying another one, using another one of the same printer, just the same, because we get a lot of mileage out of those ink wells.
Yeah, we print stuff every single day as opposed to the normal user. Every single check-in sheet, all of our sales sheets, every piece of documentation for giving to a customer. So it's constant all day. So even lasting us the 5-6 years or something like that, maybe even a little bit more than that, it's still a robust printer for that much use.
Yeah.
Now I want to touch on the cheap printers again because people gravitate to them.
It's a good deal. It looks like a good price.
Don't buy a printer. Now we're talking about inkjets for the moment. There's lasers, there's wax. You believe it or not, there's some different kinds of printers out there. But the inkjets are by far what most people buy. Do not buy a cheap printer that does not have an LED screen on it.
Or some sort of interface that's able to be navigated.
Maybe we should show a picture of what we're talking about, because they do have little screens on those
Yeah,
HPs, but it's not the one you can navigate.
So we're going to bring it up on the screen to kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about. Chrome, where are you, baby? Should have that. Obvious. Okay, coming over to the center.
And I don't know if it's the case, but I've always suspected that the companies are just losing money on the actual building of the printer, and then they recoup all of their money afterwards while selling you ink for the rest of its life.
Okay, I'm Googling printer LED screen, and
You could look
Okay,
up.
this is finally I got one here. All right, well,
From
Alibaba.
Alibaba.
I didn't expect it to be Alibaba, but this is a bad example.
Go ahead and bring up the Canon.
Why don't you just bring up the printer we were talking about?
And then was it
G620, 6020.
And just
Yeah.
images instead of the
That's what I
sales
did.
page.
I did images, and then it
It's
took me
trying
over.
to sell you stuff even if you're
Yeah.
looking at images.
There we
So, this is, by the way, the one that we're using here at the store, or one quite a bit like it.
And the ink cartridge wells are large enough to be able to hold a lot of ink, which makes it so you're replacing ink less frequently.
You can see those ink wells on the right-hand side. They're very large. You pop the top off and you can refill it. Now, in the center, you see we have, this is really quite a small LED screen, but at least it has an LED screen. And the advantage of that is when you want to lock onto your wireless signal at home, you can just come to this interface, navigate the menu, and select your Wi-Fi, and then they'll have some method of inputting the password. Some can be more brain damaged than other, but at least it's there. Some of these things have absolutely no LED screen. Now, they tend to be the cheaper ones.
Yeah, they'll just have a button.
They'll always be the
They'll have
cheaper
a
ones.
row of buttons, and then in the manual, it will tell you what buttons you have to press in what order in order to do different things. And if you're giving it to somebody who's not super tech savvy, or
Horrible.
it's a nightmare.
And people
Yeah.
buy them all the time.
And I'm trying to support them over the phone, and it's just a nightmare because I can't see anything, and I have to see if a light is blinking a certain shade and the frequency of it blinking to tell you what button you need to press next. It gets pretty complicated and definitely not worth it, especially because they do end up having more problems than other printers aside from just the interface.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts on that?
I was also going to add a lot of those printers too.
I told you we were amateurs.
So a lot of those printers, I do notice too, you can set them up with like basically the random button presses and the LEDs, as Douglas was saying, but there's also the method of if you know how to connect it by USB to your computer, then you need to download an app. Then you need to put in your HP account. If you don't have one, then you have to create one. And it's just all of these hoops you have to jump through. And you may have paid a cheap amount of money for it, but you end up wasting a lot more time just trying to get it working in the first place.
All right, or spending money.
Trying to get somebody to
hiring
get it to
people
work.
like
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
which we see often enough. I can't get my printer hooked up. Next thing you know,
You're
they've got
spending-
$150 in labor having a technician come out their house
You could have bought
to
a
get
better
their
printer
$50
at that
printer
point.
working the way it's supposed to. By the way, I want to point out we have this device here, which has nothing to do with printers, and this allows us to control what you see on the this camera environment. Up till now, we've only had one. This this week, we each have it on our phones, so we can all control what camera is being shown at any given time.
So I apologize if we fight a little bit on popping it over to the next person.
Yeah, it's an evolution in process here.
It'll be
And,
kind of funny.
And sort of finish up on printers, unless anybody comes up with anything else. Ultimately, we're just saying steer clear of any of the really low-end printers. They end up taking more time and costing more money, and then being replaced a lot quicker than any of the mid-range or higher-range.
If you're spending less than $200, you probably there's a high probability that you're falling into one of these categories that we've just described. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it depends really, but I'd say that's a good estimate. And also just do some research on the printer model.
Yeah.
If you see a ton of reviews saying, I can't set this up, or it failed after
troubleshooting.
this amount of
Yeah.
time.
If
Or,
you look up troubleshooting and then the model of your printer and you see how much there's people out there wondering how I'm supposed to fix different problems, then there's a chance that at least something
Yeah.
is wrong with the design of the printer. And another, I guess this would be the final. Make sure it's compatible with the operating system you're using. So if you're in an older operating system, you want to make sure that printer's compatible. If you're about to upgrade a computer, make sure you're getting a printer that's able to support the next operating system that you're going to.
Yeah, that is actually a good point because we did have a customer come in at one point, bought a brand new printer from one of the big box stores, and it was not compatible with the latest version. I forget if it was an Apple or a Windows, but that was a really weird one to see.
Yeah, and then I had a customer who was using Windows 8, and he went out and bought a new printer and was wondering why he couldn't get anything to work, and I had to break that news to him.
All right. And I've found also that a wireless printer can age out. So all of a sudden, your Wi-Fi printer that was working fine, at some point in time, you can't get it connected to your wireless no matter what you do. So the wireless technology evolves over time. You know, it used to be B and then G and then N and then it continues to evolve. And at some point, your printer doesn't handshake with whatever new technology, whatever wireless you have, and that's the end of it. You can't make that work.
All right. I think we got printers pretty well. And again, we got chat open. If you have something that you're interested in hearing about or you have questions, feel free to let them loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the subject of learning, if you can't get your printer working the way it's supposed to, your friends are YouTube. Just go to youtube.com, enter in search your model number and the problem you're having. Very often you'll find a video that walks you through how to solve whatever that problem is.
Yeah.
And furthermore, we do remote access, so as long as you have an internet connection, you can always call down here, make an appointment. We can sit down with you and walk you through whatever software problems you're having, whether it be with printers or with anything else you're dealing with.
Yep.
And ChatGPT.
And ChatGPT.
That's a good resource too.
Yeah, you gotta start using AI more. If you're not familiar with it, it can help you with research so much faster than a room full of employees that are sitting there researching these questions for you. Because it has the ability to scan all of the contents on the internet. I don't know if it's been updated past 2021, but last time I heard it's everything on the internet up to 2021. And so if you're looking to research something, aside from asking questions and going through all the links and reading everything, ChatGPT or any of the other AI platforms that have that sort of access can instantly grab you the knowledge and put it in front of your face.
Yep. Oh, and always fact check too and make sure, because sometimes ChatGPT can also be wrong. So.
What?
Yeah, I mean,
It is possible.
Specifically, when I
The
was
Google one,
asking ChatGPT about the Antikythera mechanism, I asked it to give me an image of the Antikythera mechanism, and instead AI generated an image of the Antikythera mechanism, and then I asked it, could you give me a real picture of it, and it said, I cannot.
All right. What the hell are you talking about? What's an anticanarium? What
Antikythera mechanism is the oldest analog computer that was discovered in that boat wreck off the coast of Greece. I told you about it last time.
Oh, that was on the last podcast.
Yeah.
You touched on that a little bit. But
yeah, but it said it cannot show me a picture of the actual Antikythera mechanism, which is interesting because I could pop over to Google, look it up, and see it in a museum. I could see a picture of it.
All right. Interesting.
So I don't know why it doesn't have access or not able to show me that, but it's an example of I asked it to show me something, and it AI generated an image of something. And if I was not very savvy at recognizing AI generated images, I might be like, oh, well, that's crazy looking. I can't believe that that's what it actually looks like.
Right.
Because it doesn't.
I have another, this is a pretty funny example. For a while, I'm not sure if it's been fixed or not. If you asked ChatGPT how many R's are in the word strawberry, it will say 2. And it will be very adamant about 2, even if you try to correct it. So that is a really interesting one.
So
and there
it's
are
a strawberry.
Yeah.
A strawberry, maybe.
No, it's a
strawberry.
You missed the first R. There's only 2 in it.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, maybe it's got a dialect from a certain part of the country or something.
But aside from that,
funny one.
AI can be an extremely useful tool. I know it comes with some fear of the future is coming, and it's only going to get more intense and more realistic when you're talking to it. They have a new advanced AI speaking model on ChatGPT that I've been using recently, and I gave it an Australian accent and had it tell me all about Steve Irwin's life and accomplishments and inspiring people to be, more caring about nature, and it was hilarious. I kept laughing so hard that it thought I was trying to say something else, so it would stop, and I'd be like, no, continue. It's just too much to handle sometimes. because it really does sound like you're just talking to somebody who has the knowledge that you're looking for in whatever accent or dialect you want them to have while they're saying it.
That's pretty cool.
A former employee of ours, Seth Briney, friend of yours, and I have been working closely together for over a period of months to incorporate artificial intelligence within the CompuMatter.com website. Now, it's not launched yet, so don't bother going there, but it will be probably within the next 2 weeks, and that'll allow people to go there directly and ask computer-related questions and get a sense of direction, so you'll be able to see how that works firsthand.
Neat. That'll be fun to try out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been using AI a lot more now. I was really apprehensive about it just because it's kind of a weird concept of having something that's able to know you so well, depending on the questions you're asking over a long enough period of time. From the data mining aspect, it did worry me. But otherwise, I'm mainly using it for research and education and computer questions, and I have no reason to have that apprehension. So I'm starting to use it a lot more frequently, and it has been very helpful in assisting with gathering information and being able to prove or disprove and fact check stuff that's out on the internet as it is.
Yeah. You okay over there?
Oh, sorry. This damn camera switcher gets to me every now and then.
Yeah, and I did have, yeah, it's that one. All right. So I did have some research I did last night on some cool AI features that are coming out in VR and in augmented reality. And I researched that there's a way on a VR headset at this point to be able to go to a website and create a 360-degree panoramic viewport into something you can create from text to video. So basically you could type in any environment that you want to see, and it'll 3D generate a 360-degree panorama that you could then look at through your VR headset, which is kind of
cool.
an interesting development in being able to control your environment in a virtual reality using just your words.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's kind of crazy to keep seeing all these different advances happening so rapidly at the same time, which, speaking of which, I'm not sure if you've seen or heard of Meta's new Auren glasses, but those are something in the works.
I have, yeah.
And I actually have some pictures about the launch of that coming up here. It's not out yet, you can't purchase it, but there's also the Apple glasses.
Do you want me to show that on the screen?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. You know, is it in the marketing folder? Or
Yeah, it'll be in the same folder where we find our background.
No, I was going to
Come on,
in the corner.
I reached over and touched his phone. All right. Hold on. Folder coming up. Yeah, you know where you're going? Well, put it on the middle folder. It'll be easier to see on the middle screen.
I don't have
All
very
right,
much
this is
mouse
Auren at the
length, so
controls.
excuse me. Here we go.
Open container.
All right. Oh, that's a good point. Oh, open container means a coffee with no lid on it, by the way. Be very clear about that.
All right.
And Control Plus.
So they have an article on their website here. Oh, I can't scroll up, but
Yeah, once it's zoomed in.
Oh, yeah, it's because let's just take us to the website. Forget this. Let's go if you know where it is. If you have the URL.
I don't.
That's all right. I mean, that's...
Yeah, so we can still talk about it here if I zoom in down to the takeaways.
And don't scroll, just grab. Can you grab the image and pull it up?
Yep.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah. So they're AR glasses. So some of the clips you can find online about it are pretty interesting. Someone wearing them, if you look at a counter and there's a bunch of different fruit, chia seeds, bananas, things like that, there's actually a feature in them that identifies what each object is and then puts a little tag of what it is above it. So if you're looking at something and you weren't sure what it is, it would be able to identify it, which is pretty interesting. And then another thing is just playing games with people. I saw someone demonstrating like ping pong, which seemed kind of fun.
Yeah.
But if you take a look at everything that this can do, it seems super futuristic. It's kind of hard to believe.
Yeah, and then I did see somebody implement AI in their VR headset and just set it on the counter and talk to it. and show it items, and it recognized stuff. So I'm guessing the technology software-wise is being spread to other devices as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, that
So
could
I look
be.
forward to playing around with that a little bit and figuring out some of the features on the VR headset side of things as well.
Yeah, and there was a second picture. I'm not sure if that had anything else of value in there. Oh yeah, so there's just a picture of something that you could see. So you can have multiple monitors in the AR world, but you'd see them in real life, and you could do video calls with people and have different screens where you can tap on and research things. So that's pretty interesting. I know that's been a thing that you've been looking into for a while with having the virtual monitors, but
I
I'm
have
not
been
sure.
playing with virtual type glasses for a couple of years now, and I've ordered some on 2 separate occasions, and they weren't the Meta version. My goal is, if you could see what I'm looking at right now, I've got 3 monitors. Actually, I got 4 monitors in front of me. I'll settle for 3, but I'm looking for a VR type. I don't care what kind of headset it is, whether it's glasses, whether it engulfs my whole head, I don't care. Whatever it is, it's going to be a lot easier to carry that around than 34-inch monitors or whatever you're using. I haven't found that yet. So far, the only ones that do it don't do it well enough, so there's a little bit of blur, there's a little bit of motion sickness, there's something missing in the equation as far as using it for regular
and then even the VR headset might be able to do it, but it's a pretty big thing, and over any extended period of time, it does have some heat factor to it being strapped to your head that large.
That's a good point.
The glasses are going to do something different for that type of environment.
EMF signals.
Right in your brain. I don't.
If I do it 12 hours a day, every day, over and over.
I feel like the glasses and the AR is probably better for your eyesight, because every now and then you can look at a distance and then come back. Whereas when you got the VR headset on,
you're just looking
right up against your face.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that funny. Have you ever seen that Facebook video where the newscaster announces that this woman got hit by lightning and survived, and then they fade into the image of her in the hospital bed going.
I don't recall that one.
I have not seen that.
But and it wasn't that she was doing that. The film strip or whatever was glitching and causing her to have that effect.
All right.
It was stopping and starting, and it made for one of those bloopers.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
But I do think in the future of AI and being able to create visual, dynamic environments, for me personally, I think that'll unlock a lot of potential in the gaming side of things, because a user in VR could design their own game, design their own environment, and immediately be in it and playing.
Yeah.
Which is never been able to happen before with all the technology that we've had up till this point.
Yeah, I'm jumping in such a short period of time, just VR, because I feel like that with AI generation.
Yeah, I believe Meta just also released their AI movie gen, which allows you to edit footage as well as just make up text to video type of videos. Okay. But one of the features that they were showing that I researched the other day was basically you could take a video that you have and you can say, hey, I'd like the background to be this, and it can just input the background and change everything. You could say, hey, I want him to be wearing a funny hat when he's talking, and boom, those features would happen, and it's a lot slicker than a lot of the other AI generation that's out there. So some newer stuff coming down the road to help out with video editing.
Yeah.
And live video editing. We might even be able to use something like that in here as well.
I look forward to it. I mean, I talked about the 3 monitor thing is one of the things I want, but I also want the ability, and I think it's coming, where they not just use your that you take your image, a picture of you from all the different angles, right? And then you upload it to the site, and then you supply it a script saying whatever it is you want to say, and it brings you to life even though you're not there.
I didn't actually get to mention it. That is in their software as well.
Is it?
And it's not even take multiple pictures. It's just slam one picture of one person's face, type in a generation of what you want them to be doing with a script, and it's going.
Yeah, but they can't capture that as well. If they don't know that I've got a bit of a blockhead when I turn to the side.
Or you got a big mole on the side of your neck. They won't be able to do that. But it did look very clean for the
Right.
fact that it was just going off of one
Yeah.
picture.
I've seen so
Because
many
that,
things
from a
like
marketing
that.
standpoint, that's going to allow, we've created a server, a business server here at the store, and we're about to move into the phase of selling that server. We already sold a number of them, but we went on a larger scale. And so from a marketing standpoint, I want to be able to create a script that says what I want it to say, upload it to one of these sites, and along with my 360, and it looks exactly like I do right now, saying exactly what I want to say with these same kind of mannerisms, with the same kind of chuckles.
You know, it's intense. Without having to set up lights, set up cameras, learn the
Yeah,
software,
I don't have to do any of that.
edit the footage, check the audio,
Drop in the
re-edit
background I
audio.
want. I could be in front of any building on the planet, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it also takes away a lot of people's jobs.
Hey, you know what? I could be sitting down doing a podcast with two people that have the same kind of technology going on.
Or by yourself, and you have two of you bouncing ideas off.
Now when you say stuff like that, now
Whoa.
people won't know if we're AI or not.
Yeah.
We're
No,
not
show them the mole.
We're
No,
not-
I'm just kidding.
Hold on a second.
Oh,
Anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will get more difficult and harder to tell the difference as the future unveils more technology in AI video generation. And I am a little bit apprehensive on wanting it to take over that much. I think it's very useful and efficient for making more content, but I think there's a need for that realistic, real person with a camera, maybe even a little bit of lower quality of audio, just being real.
Well, nature will take its course.
Yeah.
Whatever people want, technology will move in that direction because people are paying for it. People want to get that money, and so there's this natural progression in whatever direction that's going to be. So my best advice is pay attention to it. Don't ignore it. Don't say, oh, it's going to take over the world and it's dangerous. And it's not going. Whatever this is, the internet didn't go away. DOS didn't go away, Windows didn't go away, the typewriter did go away because it got replaced by something new.
But the keyboard layout stayed the same.
Well,
Yeah.
the
QWERTY keyboard is still the same design.
It did, and maybe someday we won't be using keyboards at all. I mean, we'll be saying it, thinking it, whatever the technology is of the past, all of it, really, except the wheel, perhaps, has gone away.
Until the hovercraft becomes a normal anti-gravity will take away the wheel.
You're going to have an
a little bit.
advantage if you stay close to the action. And there's so much knowledge that can be gained through AI. I don't care if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a computer person, an actor, a writer, whatever it is, you can really harness some knowledge in a way that you never could otherwise.
That's really small.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, guys. Finally, I'm able to get the live stream
Hey,
going.
Paulo.
Oh, hey,
Welcome
Paulo.
in. I've seen a couple of your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Sorry if we were late to the party and getting back to you. I don't know how long that's
No, it
been up
just
there.
popped up.
Oh, okay, good.
It was tiny, but it just popped up.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, AI
just
is,
in time to say goodbye.
Yeah, I think it is, actually. We do open the store at 11 on Saturday, so we got to go help the public out, including you. So if you have any other questions or anything comes up, feel free to leave it in the chat. And again, if it's not something that we can cover immediately, like right now when we're just heading out, we'll be happy to look back on it and see if there's anything we can follow up with in a later episode.
Yeah, we'll be in next Tuesday as well, so hopefully that'll work out.
Yeah. Until we are replaced by AI, we will be here.
But we all enjoy what we're doing. We're grateful that you take the time out of your day to have a look at, to check in on us. We look forward to these podcasts, share the benefit of our many years in the business with you.
Yeah.
And we look forward to the future. And I have, I have good feelings about where the technology is going, and think it will bring good pros as well as some of the cons. But I think it'll be a good development over time, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention we have another channel we have on YouTube. For those of you watching this on Facebook, we have a YouTube channel. So if you search for CompuMatter space YouTube, you'll find our channel. You'll find previous podcasts that we've done under the live section, and you'll
also tips and tricks.
A lot of videos for a lot of subject matters. And we also have another channel for those in the business world called CompuMatter. And if you Google CompuMatter YouTube, You'll learn a lot about the server technology that we're developing. A lot of that is very geeky and left brain. It teaches other server administrators how to do things. So you may not learn as much about the product that we're about to launch, but you'll get a sense of things.
Otherwise, Apollo, have a good one. Glad you got to see a little bit of it anyway, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.
Good
Have a
to
good
see ya.
rest of the Saturday.
Bye-bye. Where'd the mouse go? There we go. All right.